how do we feel okay? Do we feel okay about this? Does this like is this starting to make sense of like what you can expect during the machine learning part of the interview?
Yeah, can I share my experience with these type of questions?
Please do.
I,
Yeah.
I had an interview with the machine learning for a machine learning position,
Yeah.
and the hiring manager asked me more technical questions. Even he asked me about the hyperparameter of the kernel for SVM.
Yeah.
And even though I just explained what, it was a polynomial kernel, and he said, what was the formula, or just what was the hyperparameter for that? So to be able to answer that, you need to have the formula, memorized.
So
And
yeah.
it took me by surprise, to be honest. I never, saw that coming. So,
So
yeah,
if you don't mind me asking, like for what type of role was it, or for what company? Do you remember?
it was in New York. It's machine learning, that's why.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. So that's the thing. So if it's really going to be like, so a lot of these like research science roles that are very specific to machine learning, like absolutely. You need to be, it's never going to be like, why would you need to use a logistic regression? It's going to be very specific, right? It's going to be like, how do you derive like eigenvectors? And they want to know, right? They want to know that you have already that knowledge. This is more of like for a basic data science role where,
Mhm.
like for example, like at Uber, I was working on a machine learning model, right? But a lot of the incoming data scientists like might potentially work on the model, might work on something else. So like they don't need to know everything, right, about a gradient boosting model, but they just need to have enough knowledge that like if we ask them to, help retrain the data set or like add features, or they can go ahead and contribute. So it really just depends on like the level. From what you're saying, seems like it was a very what you were interviewing for was like for very much like a pure machine learning role.
Pure machine. And
Yeah.
I always have this question in my mind that even though you say that they don't specifically ask for the formula, but for example, for SVM, the loss function, I don't know if the loss function should be memorized, for neural network, because from there, the problem I always have is that how deep they want to go down.
Yeah.
The thing is, for example, loss function is created, and how is it going to be optimized and just solved? So optimization course should be
Right.
included. So it's so, because it's a huge breadth that we need
Yes.
to actually cover, and and we don't know which one we should actually focus on, or we have to keep trying,
Yeah.
interviews, and which one say, let's
So
see.
it really, once again, it like really depends on the role. So for these roles that are super machine learning, personally, the way that I would do it is yes, there will tell you how do you derive loss function, what are things that you could do to optimize for it. But what I would do is, and we're going to go through this in some of the behavioral, is do your research before the interview, right? So if you're, let's say you're applying for like a machine learning role at Netflix, right? And you know that their recommendation algorithm is based on collaborative filtering, they will most likely ask you on collaborative filtering, right? Because that is the model that they essentially they want to keep optimizing for. They want to achieve a level of like 99% accuracy. And so if you're, once again, going to be a machine learning engineer or going to be working on the algorithm itself, then you need to be the expert because you're going to become the expert.